What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before, please check out plenty of the videos that I have up. Hit the subscribe button. Everybody else, welcome back. What we're going to do today is cover a brief history or a brief synopsis of what's going on with a few cases that have been in the media, that have been on YouTube, and a few of them have quieted down. And I'm going to bring you up to date on what's happening. And the first one is the Robert Brooks case. For those of you that know the case, Robert Brooks was beat to death by 10 correctional officers in December of 2024 in Marcy Correctional Facility when he was being transferred from Mohawk Correctional Facility. These officers viciously beat him. They kicked him in the groin, they kicked him in the ribs, they punched him in the face. They stuck they stuck Lysol wipes down his throat, um, and it was an unprovoked from all investigations. There was no findings of why these officers attacked Robert Brooks, why they killed Robert Brooks. This behavior is prevalent inside of the New York State Department of Corrections from the correctional officers. They have been known to be extremely abusive. Um, as you know, I served 17 years in prison, in the maximum security prison. I have witnessed the abuse. I have witnessed beating deaths. I have witnessed unnecessary hostility. I understand in the Department of Corrections, you have to keep things in control because you're dealing with criminals and criminal behavior. And so control must be maintained. But I will say that a large percentage of officers go above and beyond. Um, and this is what happens when you put on a uniform and you give someone power. This is a whole form of psychology that has been deeply looked into and studied. You give someone power over another individual, and they tend to abuse that power. And the Department of Corrections, it has taken a whole new turn. But what's going on? And that's not all of them. There's some great officers in the Department of Corrections. I know some of them personally. I know officers who would never do that. I know officers who would never participate in that behavior. I'm just saying that a large number do. And so, what's going on in that case right now is as for the 10 officers that were charged, two of them accepted plea deals. That was Christopher Walrath accepted a plea deal, and Nicholas Gentile accepted a plea deal. Christopher Walrath accepted a plea deal for the charge of manslaughter in the first degree. He's facing a 15-year sentence with 5 years of post release, and Nicholas Gentile accepted a plea deal for tampering with evidence. There were 10 people, 10 officers that were indicted, six for murder and three for manslaughter. Um, the trial is set for the other individuals is on October 6th, so that's not too far away. We're going into August. Eight of the officers out of the 10 that were indicted have rejected plea deals. So eight of them at this time will be going to trial unless they accept the plea deal at the last minute, which I'm sure there will be some of those, and maybe the plea deal will come down. They may be offered a less substantial plea deal that they might accept, but those are always possibilities. And then there's the possibility that they go to trial and are found not guilty. There's a possibility that they go to trial and they're found not guilty on lesser charges. And then there's the possibility that they are found guilty at trial or offered a plea bargain. So, I mean, there are a few options that can happen. But as I said, right now, October 6th. The eight officers that have decided to go to trial are Nicholas Anzalone, Anthony Farina, Glenn Tromley, David Kingsley, and Matthew Gallagher. Those five have been charged with murder. And the other three that have been charged with manslaughter and are deciding to go to trial are Michael Fisher, Michael Mashaw, and David Walters. Those three have been charged with manslaughter, and the trial is scheduled to go down on October 6th, which I am thinking about attending, but I'm sure I probably won't be able to get into the courthouse. Seating is probably going to be almost impossible. A lot of people paying attention to that case. Since that case, we haven't received any serious reports of correctional officers beating anyone to death. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, because if the media doesn't report it, then the society doesn't become too aware of it. But things seem to have calmed down a lot after that. Right after the beating death of Robert Brooks, the correctional officers decided to go on strike. Um, and 2,000 of them were fired by the governor. Many of them did get their jobs back. Many of them moved on with their life. But I think this case in itself, that 10 people were indicted, um, that two accepted plea deals and one for 15 years, and the rest are going to trial. I would think that this would make the correctional officers that are still working in the Department of Corrections realize that this can happen to them. It is a wake up call. It is an eye opener, and they realize that they are not untouchable, because many of them did have that feeling that they were untouchable and they could abuse people as much as they wanted. I myself do understand, as a man who lived in prison for 17 years, I know that you can't let the prison population get out of control. I know that prisoners do things that are pretty crazy, but as the responsible party, as a correctional officer who is a state employee, who is a peace officer, he should be taught to handle situations more correctly, more peacefully, and without violence. Violence is, not the answer to violence, because all that does is create an animosity inside of the prisoners. So that's what's going on with the Robert Brooks case. And now we'll switch over to the Carmelo Anthony case very briefly. What's going on with the Carmelo Anthony case is that is scheduled, the trial is scheduled for June of 2026. So we're talking another 10 months away in that trial. It was a trial date that was pushed pretty far back. I don't know why it was pushed so far back. It's going on in front of Judge John Roach, a Republican judge inside of Texas. This was the case, as many of you must know, where Carmelo Anthony stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf in the heart, because he claimed that Austin Metcalf assaulted him and he killed him in self defense. From the evidence we have received through the media, through investigations, this doesn't seem like a self defense case. Part of the incident was caught on video. The public has not been privileged to see that video. Some news media um, was permitted to view the video, and they have all stated that you cannot see the actual stabbing in the video. That you can see people running, you can see the commotion after the stabbing, but they don't show the incident that led up to the stabbing. But there is 33 witnesses, people who gave statements about what happened. It happened under the tent in Texas at the track meet, and so that's scheduled for June 6th. What has happened in that case is the judge has recently ordered a gag order for people involved to stop speaking about the case, because there was so much turmoil taking place, so many rumors taking place, so much false information being put out there, that the judge ruled this can taint the jury, and he has issued a gag order. And that gag order means that people are not allowed to speak about the case at all. And if they violate the gag order, they are subject to being charged with a criminal offense. This gag order includes witnesses, expert consultants, agents, law enforcement, courthouse staff, family members, and those who speak on the family members' behalf. They are no longer allowed to speak on that case. So that's all that's going on with the Carmelo Anthony case right now. As you know, there was millions of rumors, and YouTubers out there who were feeding these rumors and keeping them going, which was only creating a lot of racial animosity because it became a racial case because Carmelo Anthony is black and Austin Metcalf is white. So that's pushed off until June 1st, 2026. He can always receive a plea deal. Carmelo Anthony still can receive a plea deal, still accept a plea deal. I'm not saying that a plea deal is going to come, but it is possible. There's a lot of time until then. Then we have the Travis Decker case. Travis Decker case was in Washington State. Travis Decker is the former military man who killed his three daughters, and they found them on a campground inside of Washington State. The three daughters were Peyton, who was age 9, Evelyn, age 8, and Olivia, age 5. Three precious little girls. Um, and Travis Decker is still on the run. He has some military training. There's a $20,000 reward for him. And that's many people speculate. It's just pure speculation. They speculate that he may have killed himself, but that speculation doesn't work with me. Just because you can't find someone doesn't mean that he killed himself. You know, you don't know what type of plan this man had, but I'm sure they are still actively searching for Travis Decker. Uh, what a sad case that he took the life of his three little girls. I mean, I can't even fathom that. It's still hard for me to understand what type of mind frame this guy must have been in to do something like that. It's really, really sick. You know, uh, won't get into the P. Diddy case. Sean Combs, as you know, he was found not guilty on most charges. He was found guilty on lesser charges. They're saying he faces 20 years for sex trafficking, um, and trafficking people for the purpose of sex. But there's a little twist in this. Although he was found not guilty on most of the charges, the two charges that he was found guilty of is trafficking people for the purpose of sex or prostitution for the purpose of prostitution. He did not personally have sex with the people, and the law states that if you're trafficking someone for the purpose of prostitution, you would have sex with them. What he did was watch the people have sex. And so, what I'm saying is, legally, the conviction, the charge doesn't really fit with what he did. So, he has a very strong appeal issue on that, if you follow what I'm saying. My guess, they said that he faces 20 years, 10 years for each of the charges. My guess is that he's going to get something like 24 months. And he has already served 1 year. He's been in Manhattan Federal Holding Center, MDC, for just about a year. So and all that time counts towards his sentence. And I strongly believe he may get 2 to 3 years for this, if he doesn't win an appeal altogether. You know, and if he does, he would be out. He would be out within a year. If he gets 2 to 3 years, he would be out within a year. Uh, and who knows if they're really going to hit him hard? We could all be surprised, and the judge could hit him with 10 years. But I don't think that's going to happen. And to be honest, in my opinion, in that case, is that the government really overstretched. They really overstretched their boundaries on that case, and they indicted him on a lot of charges he wasn't guilty of. I this is just from following the case the little bit that I have. There was a lot of consenting adults that participated in things because Sean Combs was a billionaire, and people do a lot of things for money. Many people had the opportunity to say no. Many people had the opportunity to walk away, and they tried to paint the picture that he had this psychological hold on people. And I don't really, I know that is possible, but I don't go for that nonsense. That was the district attorney's argument, and they have to come up with an argument. But the truth is that these people love the houses he was buying, and renting for them. They love the cars and the diamonds and the jewelry, and most were willing to sacrifice their own morals and their own values to continue to get that money and live that lifestyle that Sean Combs was providing. May he be a little perverted? Yeah, sure, he can be a little perverted. There's a lot of perverted people out there, but there's nothing illegal about having baby oil. There's nothing illegal about having a sex basement. There's nothing illegal about wanting to watch your girlfriend have sex with other people. There's some people that are into those things. In that case, it's important to point out that nobody was underage. He was never accused of doing anything with anyone underage as well. And so that's what's going on with the P-Diddy case. And there's one more brief case that I'll get into. Was the Ashley Long case, which was also in Texas. And if you remember the Ashley Long case, that didn't happen too long ago. She was the real estate agent who was out at about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning with a male companion, and as they were crossing the street, the male companion smacked the Mercedes Benz that was driving by, and the occupants of the Mercedes got out of the car, and the person that Ashley Long was with, his name was Kendrick Finch. Kendrick Finch pulled out a gun and got into a gunfight in the middle of the street with the people in the Mercedes after he slapped the Mercedes. He says he was released on bail, on $500,000 bail, but Ashley Long, 28 years old, was killed in that exchange of gunfire. And he says Kendrick Finch says that it was in self defense because he saw the occupants of the Mercedes pull out a gun. This has been argued. There is video of this incident as well. That trial is scheduled for early of 2026. I'd like to see what happens in that case. My feeling in that case is that Finch is going down. So anyway, that's just a few cases that I wanted to fill you up to date of what's going on with them, and so you're aware. And I have another video I'll probably be posting tonight, and on the prison system, and a story that took place when I was in there. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hit the subscribe button, stay tuned, and that's what's going on, my friends.